No one ever said that 500 horsepower was boring. If anything, people might think it's too much. But you and I, we aren't those people. So today, I came up with a list of 5 dirt cheap cars and an honorable mention that are fun, fast, and have at least a tire shredding, attention grabbing 500 horsepower. And the last one on this list is straight up baller status. Let's go! The first car on this list is from a manufacturer that is more well known for old people and their parents driving their cars. But that is completely not true with the Cadillac CTSV. Yeah, it's still a comfortable caddy, and looks can be extremely deceiving because this thing is fast as fuck. Under the hood is a supercharged LS motor with 556 horsepower, which is good enough for 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. And what's actually scary is this car isn't just good in a straight line. This fast-ass sedan handles corners just as well as it handles drag strips. Essentially, this is a Corvette Z06 with 4 doors, which makes sense because Cadillac and Chevy are both owned by GM. And to the casual observer, this thing just looks like a normal CTS, and the wagon variant might be one of the best sleepers we've ever seen on a list. So you might want to go check that out. The Cadillac CTSV is from an unassuming manufacturer that gives you a 500 plus horsepower sedan that looks slow, but when you mash that go pedal, your passengers will be in for a ride of their life. This car is a direct competitor with the CTSV, and it's made by BMW. Now, the new BMW M5s have a V8 motor, but let's take a step back to the mid-2000s, when BMW pretty much said YOLO, and put a 5-liter V10 with 505 horsepower into their 5 Series sedan. And I think I'm speaking on behalf of all car enthusiasts. Thank you, BMW. Because with just an exhaust, this thing screamed like an F1 car. And while that sound is intoxicating, 0 to 60 came in only 4.2 seconds. So you'd be hearing a lot of that screaming from that V10, of course. And I mean, let's be honest, if you're in an E60 M5, you're not gonna just let that V10 sit dormant, are ya? This car was built when the M division at BMW was really trying to take it up a notch. They not only shoehorned V10 power in there, they also threw some magic at its handling and created a super sedan that would outrun many sports cars. Now, the E60 M5 might not be the most wise investment due to its extreme unreliability, but boy, oh boy, can we all appreciate the fruits of BMW M division. With all the hype around the C8 Corvette being unveiled, that just means that you can get an ideal deal on a C7 or a C6 Z06, which of course you're gonna wanna use the ideal car strategies so you buy it properly, right? And I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want a C6 Z06. Just look at this thing. It is the ideal American sports car. It's got the looks, it's got the stance, and if you're looking for something with 505 horses under the hood, I can't think of anything better. See, this thing, it's got super car power. Under the hood, you got a huge V8, and it will barbecue 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds. Now, here's the kicker. Chevy claims that it can only do 198 miles per hour. But I bet if you got a tailwind and enough room, 200 or more is definitely doable, which if you think about it is crazy even nowadays. But back 10 plus years ago, that's absolutely incredible. Plus the bargains that you can get them at now, it's crazy that you can own a 500 plus horsepower Corvette and not even break the bank. I know that some of the viewers like to keep it classy, and this car is for you. The Mercedes-Benz SL55 gives you those 500 plus horses, German engineering, and class that's hard to find in any other manufacturer. And it all starts with 3 letters, AMG, who's known for building some of the best power plants ever, and the SL55 is no exception. That supercharged V8 hauls this Merc from 0 to 60 in just 4.5 seconds. all know that SLs are pretty heavy, but instead of using Jenny Craig, Mercedes uses active suspension. With just a push of a button, you control how much body roll your SL gets. I mean, I wish I had a button like that to push. And for the prices that you can pick these things up for, dollar for dollar, pound for pound, the Mercedes SL55 is one of the best bang for buck sports cars that you can get with 500 plus horsepower. And folks, it is that time for me to throw you a curveball with that honorable mention, baby. Way back in grade school, I made a promise with myself that I would never own a van. I've never been a van guy, and I never thought that I would start becoming one now. But the R63 AMG might change my and your opinion real fast. Yeah, the AMG division got a hold of the Mercedes R chassis, and they built a 507 horsepower, extremely badass minivan of sorts. And I gotta ask all you guys a question. If you had to get a van, would you consider the R63? I mean, I would. Which is quite unbelievable knowing that I'm not a van guy, and you probably aren't either. But maybe the R63 will change your mind real quick, because 0 to 60 comes in just 4.6 seconds. And this thing doesn't slow down until well into triple digits. So it's got me thinking, maybe the R63 from AMG, or Mercedes, is the perfect mommy-mobile. Nah. This car is not only baller status, but it straight up has the biggest engine on this list. The Bentley Continental GT. With 6 liters, 12 cylinders, 2 turbos, and 2 intercoolers, this thing is one badass machine. And not only if you snag this car are you gonna make all your friends jelly, but they're not gonna think it's very fast, which that mighty twin turbo V12 puts out 552 horsepower and 479 foot-pounds of torque. So when you're just cruising in your Continental GT with your friends, it's gonna feel underpowered and underwhelming. But jab the pedal to the floor, engage the 2 turbos, and it's gonna do quick work of 0 to 60 in just 4.5 seconds. And as you just heard, it doesn't make all the crazy sounds that the other cars on this list made. It's almost like the exhaust has a silencer on it. So if you're looking for something a little bit crazier, check out these 6 cheapest stock cars that will go over 150 miles per hour. Or check out what YouTube recommends you watch next. Oh, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, because either way, you can't lose, and as always, keep living that ideal lifestyle.